Did you know the microchip in your iPhone is a technical marvel? That tiny microchip, which is smaller than your fingernail, has over 11 billion parts. Transistors, they are called. Transistors are basically electronic switches. Every single one of those switches or transistors have been put onto the iPhone's microchip individually. 11.8 billion transistors. Microchips are the lifeblood of modern technology, and their demand dwarfs even oil in economic importance. In fact, China spends more money importing chips than it does on oil. An eye-popping revelation that underscores chips' significance in global power dynamics. The US leads the industry along with Taiwan, believe it or not. Taiwan, you wouldn't think it. So to catch up, China is investing billions in semiconductor industry, but it faces steep challenges as the US tightens restrictions and enlists allies like Japan and South Korea to curb China's tech ambitions. So there's literally a war going on behind closed doors. And the USA, by any means necessary, will stop China from catching up in the production of microchips, to the point they will ban technology companies like Huawei. I always nearly say it wrong. Huawei. And China will fight back and try to buy shares of the USA chip companies. And the government will step in and block sales and things of that nature. So imagine you want to sell your company and the government of the country you live in say, no, you're not allowed to sell that. So it's like they're overstepping, and in the USA will help countries like Japan with their microchips to distract China and to send them false information. So they'll give Japan kind of older equipment, and in China, because Japan's right there, they'll go and look at what they've got and try and replicate what they've got. But what they've got is very behind what the USA's got. Yeah. So it's like some 4D chess.
I was literally about to say that exact words. Going on. 4-dimensional massive chess game. But what's interesting that you should say that the government, step in and prevent sales or even force sales, because Roman Abramovich, who used to own Chelsea, government stepped in. They said sell that shit now.
They said sell it or I got take it.
Do you know what I mean? It's ridiculous.
Got 3 months.
100%.
Imagine trying to find a buyout for something that costs that much.
Exactly, and you're also, like the clubs, you're kind of trying to make sure it goes to someone good. You can't just sell it to, any Tom, Dick and Harry down the street.
When they have them sanctions in, and to make it even worse, Roman Abramovich, he's not Putin. Just because Russia did something.
What, because he paid his taxes and Putin got some of that money? You're in.
It's like, what have I done?
That's crazy. Because, the owners of Man United or whatever, they pay taxes to the US government. US bombs holy for countries, so...
Man said it was a bit much, innit? Chelsea's never been the same again.
He said, I've been on his yacht. He said, I've been on his yacht. That's it. Like I said, we're not boys or anything.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
They said, we didn't ask. Sell it.
That's a bit xenophobic, isn't it?
Just a little bit. But it's all right when we do it.
They're all the same.
It's all right when we do it. Buckets and buckets of praise for this book. Not by me, but by experts who are paid to understand this sort of thing. A Harvard University professor said, if you care about technology or about America's future... We didn't even do the bloody intro. We didn't even do the intro.
Why should you always remember it?
I don't know.
So your mind wanders when you're reading as well?
Yeah, must do. Oh, all the time. With audiobooks, it always does. We didn't even do the bloody intro. I remember because I didn't say the author's name.
Okay.
That's how I clocked.
Do you want to go back and say it? And start the whole thing again?
Yeah, I've got... Listen, hold on.
No, we're not starting. You can just pause this video right now. Go and read Chip War by
Chris Miller. And when you've read it, you can join us for the discussion.
Or you can join us anyway because we're going to tell you all about it. My name's Elijah.
And I'm Joseph, and welcome to the Aisha Library.
Is that better for you?
Absolutely.
Does it now feel right?
That works for my autism.
So what did you think of the book?
Yeah, look, there was some stuff in there that I found interesting. I was getting into it, actually, to be fair to me.
I was getting into the notes.
I was getting into the details of it.
I think sometimes you have to sometimes you got to spend hours reading the book for you to really understand the concept behind it. So you could maybe get some of the information on a web page or whatnot, but you're not going to understand the mechanics behind what is actually going on. And this book was a history lesson of where chips have come from to where they're going. And I thought it was a waste of time. A lot of the book was a waste of time. We didn't need to know the history. Tell us what countries are doing now. Tell us the espionage. Tell us what's going on behind the scenes.
Tell us who's getting bombed next.
Exactly.
We need that.
Tell
we
us
need to know
which stocks are going up and which are going down. Tell us that.
Give me the lottery numbers.
Literally. And the book wasn't that. It was towards the end. And I learned some very fascinating things. I don't regret it. You couldn't. It's very hard to regret a non-fiction book,
Yeah,
even if
it's
you
hard.
learn one thing.
You know something.
Yeah, you learned something.
You definitely didn't waste your time. But yeah, Harvard University
It's not
professor
that bit
said,
again, though.
buckets and buckets of praise for this book. Not by me, but by experts who are paid to understand this sort of thing. A Harvard University professor said, if you care about technology or about America's future prosperity, you should read this book. Other acclaimed sources have praised this book and its author for making a complex industry comprehensible and giving us a sharp read on the battle for supremacy in semiconductors, one of the most important but least chronicled stories of geopolitics and national security. Ultimately, that's what I'm hoping for from this book. I definitely want a story, but I also need it to be comprehensible. I want to be able to recall something from it at work and contribute to an intellectual conversation. I want people to realize I don't just watch porn and jerk off. I also read in between rounds and while I'm searching for the perfect video.
Rounds? Let's not be silly. You only got one in your love, one in the chamber,
Crack
mate.
one out. That's what I'm saying. 100%.
I
After
don't,
that, I'm
I don't
firing
know
blanks.
why. Look, I've read the book in its entirety, and I don't understand why they say that anybody who's interested in America should read the book, unless they're trying to weaponize us, as in join us into the battle, into the struggle.
And they always are.
You know, you look at the Americans, they don't want to ban TikTok, for example. We don't care if China's listening to our, conversations. Just give me my TikTok dances. That's what I care about. So why they telling everyone to read the book, I don't really understand that. But
You gotta say,
but you should read the book.
Yeah, you gotta say read this book. Like, if you're not saying that, then bin the book. You're not gonna say don't read this book because it's so good.
I still wouldn't. The book was all right. It was some good information in there, but I couldn't go and tell somebody to read this book. Not unless you're a tech.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah.
They literally said it's comprehensible. It turned out it wasn't that comprehensible.
Anybody who I could recommend to read this book should have probably already read it.
Should have read it already.
Or would have read it. Would have already read it.
Or doesn't even need to read it because they bloody wrote it.
In the midst of the Cold War, the US actually covertly aided Japan in building up companies like Sony. Bet you didn't know that. Definitely. Remember, this is fresh off the back of World War II. Japan were the enemies. Remember, we just nuked them twice.
And they didn't learn.
So why did the US help them build Sony into what it is? Well, the US hoped that by building up Japan's economy, it would keep them from pursuing the alternative and potentially dangerous routes to power. The problem is the plan worked too well. Fast forward, and now Japan's semiconductor advancements are said to be 5 years ahead of the US. That's not really that clever, is it? Because they've forgotten that we nuked them.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, exactly. Which is crazy to think about, the amount of fun that I've had off the back of Sony while being oblivious. It's the reason why Sony exists is because of the USA. I wonder if that's the reason why PlayStations and things are always being released in the US first, because they basically own Sony.
That's a good point.
I know. I didn't bother do any research about that. I just thought I'd just leave that thought.
Leave that sword hanging.
I always do. Swinging.
Man's a helicopter. I take it back. Author is bullying me with computer words and making me feel stupid for not understanding them. I'm not stupid. You're stupid. I can see that effort is being made on some level to make this information comprehensible somewhat for the average Joe, such as when Miller explains to us that humans have been using devices as a computer substitute for the human brain for thousands of years. The ancient Babylonians having invented the abacus to perform basic calculations. So I don't even know the Babylonians invented the abacus. I looked it online. They said they don't know who invented the abacus. They said it's been this so long and there's been so many different versions of it. The Romans had one, the Greeks had one. They said they do not know who invented it. He sounds sure that it was the Babylonians. I believe you. But you don't think of an abacus as a computing substitute. But then that's exactly what it is. Yeah. You slide the bead across, you're counting.
Well, I was going to say that us humans, we're not that great at computing numbers in our head. But you look at some of them,
them nutcases.
Them ones over there, on the other side of the world, they reel off them numbers.
They get beat if they don't, that's why. They better.
Some of them lots.
But even them, computers still...
computer's still going to smoke you. But some of them, I see them doing their competitions and they're doing this. They're doing it on their hands,
That's insane.
I don't know what they're doing. They're doing some form of mental computing and they're doing this. And you ask them like, what's, 693 times 396 times this, that, and they're doing this, and then they'll tell you straight away.
That's insane. There's a footballer.
What you do?
Swiss.
What can you do?
Do you know what I mean, bro? I'm telling you.
Can't you do kick-ups?
I'm telling you. Nah, I can do that now. But There's he's not German, he's Swiss
This
footballer.
is what you could do. That's what you could do.
Hey, wrong hand, mate. But yeah, there's a Swiss
not
footballer.
both then.
There's a Swiss
Same.
footballer. There's a Swiss footballer. He went on German TV because he played for Borussia Dortmund. His name's Manuel Akanji, and he can actually do that. So they was literally like him. Some guy got a calculator, and it was literally like, what's 28 times, just wrote off a bunch of numbers. This guy was like, yeah, 4,100. I was like, how do you learn to do that? What the hell is that?
Yeah, exactly. It's funny when you see someone mentally beat somebody in speed who's using a calculator.
Yeah, it's crazy because you're like, you stand no chance against me, man. Because it feels brain to brain. You stand zero.
I like the sound of that.
You stand zero chance against me. But somebody was like, Tim, he needs to calculate how to defend. Like, he was getting shredded on the pitch.
Calculate your mother.
He was getting shredded on the pitch.
How many have you got, by the way?
5 in total, and I've just done 2, so I'm on 3.
All right.
You got like
4.
How many you got?
I got 4.
Oh,
I've got a question of the
it's
day.
the way you were scrolling. I was like, you look like you got like 20, bro.
The man-made laser that's hotter than the sun. To produce the microchips that power our iPhones, computers, and gadgets in general, these machines use lasers hotter than the sun. Yes, the lasers reach temperatures that are hotter than the sun. These lasers fire 1,000,000 times per second and rely on mirrors so flawless that they're considered the smoothest objects ever made. The complexity of these lithography machines is mind-bending. The laser itself is a complex piece of equipment. There are lots of parts that make up the laser. It says that the laser alone contains 426,000 parts! Let me say that again. The laser alone has 426,000 parts.
Jesus Christ.
A malfunction can cost millions in lost productivity. AI systems are employed just to predict which components might break next. These machines costing upwards of $100 million.
So they're saving money on those. They're saving money with them.
Representing the pinnacle of human engineering and precision. Joseph, if you're the mechanic and you've come in and you said, oh, the laser's broken.
You're like...
426,000 parts.
Could be anything.
Could be anything.
Literally could be anything.
Oh my days. So yeah, how much time and money, it's interesting how much time and money and effort that goes into the devices that you call mobile phones.
Do you know
and
what I
we're
mean?
Clueless. Even the people watching this are like, yeah, whatever, shut up,
Do you know
swipe.
What I mean? Watch porn on them.
Do you know what I mean? That's what it always comes down to, is you in it. Jesus Christ. Yeah, their iPhones that have 11 billion parts in the microchips alone. 426,000 parts. That's the bit that really gets me. I mean, the temperatures that are hotter than the sun. I mean, that is quite amazing. If you haven't been around Joseph when he lets one off. But
Well, you said been around Joseph. I was like, a compliment. Strange.
You're hotter than the sun.
done with
You
Elijah?
think you're hotter than the sun, do you?
Well, I didn't say it. You did.
Question of the day. Your sibling has just received devastating news. They will die without a kidney transplant and time is running out. You volunteer to donate, but you're not a match. However, your other sibling is a perfect match, but they outright refuse to donate their kidney. Now imagine this. Your sibling agrees to donate blood or undergo a minor procedure that requires sedation. While they're unconscious, you have the opportunity to forge their signature and authorize a kidney donation to save your sibling.
Sacrifice one sibling to save the other.
No, it's donating a kidney. It's not going to kill them.
Yeah,
remember? That would be just be wrong.
That's Isn't that not unforgivable though? You wake up with like a scar in your chest. Huh?
And you've saved your sibling.
So?
No. All right, but what are you doing?
What would I do?
You have the opportunity to save me, Elijah.
Do you know what?
Do
you know what's crazy?
Yeah, you saved me, Joseph.
The gas
Daniel
got to you already.
he doesn't even need it.
Oh, dead. Look, in the moment, everyone would probably... Look, ask your sibling, innit? In the moment, a lot of people would probably forward the signature. And
Really? You think
I think
so?
a lot of people would probably
I asked
do
somebody, she said, nope. Straight away. She didn't even need to think about it. Don't like her anyway.
Oh, God.
Let her die. Take the other one.
Smother her. Look, it's people will go to extreme lengths in the moment when they're desperate, and when family are dying, that's one of the moments where it's desperate, where you get desperation sets in.
Is it justifiable to forge a signature?
Absolutely.
Is it justifiable?
You could definitely justify that. What the hell? You're alive and he's alive, so what's not? What's the downside?
So,
Exactly. Start complaining.
So
You have
is
another
it-
one, bro.
Is it wrong to do it then?
Yeah, it's definitely wrong to do it, but it's one could.
Really?
Yeah, it's definitely wrong to do it.
Even though I don't know if it is.
You don't know if it's wrong
I
to
don't know if
forge
it's
somebody's
wrong.
signature
I don't
and
know if
take
it's.
their internal
I
organs.
I don't know if it is. I don't know if it is. The reason
Your
being.
judgment is askew.
No. Check this out, right? Why do they not want to do it?
It doesn't matter.
Exactly. Exactly. What they're doing is they're using their temporary wants and desires to make a decision that's permanent.
Yeah.
So for you to, let's just say you do it and they're unhappy with you, and then a year later they're like, you know what, you made the right decision.
Yeah.
Are they entitled to even say that you made the right decision?
What do you mean?
Let's just say I was the one that said no. You forged your signature. They took my kidney. A year later, I come back and say, I'm so glad you did that. You made the right decision. Am I entitled to say that?
You can say what you want.
No,
but
no,
I don't
but
understand what you're asking.
Am I entitled to make the decision that that you made the right decision? Because if you're saying it's wrong,
Nah. That's just letting me off the hook. That's not saying it was the right decision.
No,
that doesn't mean it was right.
yeah, well,
You're
that's
just
what I'm
letting me off the
asking.
hook.
But surely it's right if I am now happy that you did that.
No, it just means you're no longer upset about it. And like in retrospect, you think, I was wrong when I'd said that. But
So
maybe
surely
it was wrong to exercise the decision that you did, but you still had the decision.
And exactly, if you have the decision, does that not make you entitled to make a decision?
Yeah, and you made your decision. And your decision was taken away from you ultimately.
No, I'm saying your decision to steal my kidney,
Well,
to
that's-
forge your signature.
Yeah, well,
you
that's-
are entitled to make that decision because you have that decision.
I mean, well, now you're talking about mechanics of how does the body operate. Yeah, I can do it.
No,
you know,
I'm
but it's
saying
like,
God-
I'm definitely
God
not
has put
entitled
you
to
in-
someone else.
God has
Oh,
put you
well,
in that-
okay, now. Well, we even talk about the same thing now. We're talking about the law of man. Now we're talking about God has ordained you. Damn. God did. Now it is Abraham shit.
So it's absolutely the wrong thing to do, but people are going to do it and you can't blame them for it.
You could definitely understand why they did it. It's justifiable.
All right, let's take position. You're the judge in a case where this has happened.
Well, I have to uphold the law.
You're a
It's
judge.
my job to uphold the law.
What are you doing?
Is it
The sibling wakes up, realizes what happened, and they're demanding their kidney back. What are you doing?
Oh, well, I don't know. I don't know if the law's allowed to do that. I really don't know if the law's allowed to do that.
So let's say the law is allowed to do that. What are you doing?
Yeah, give me the kidney back. Like, what the hell? What the hell? Nah, if I had the power to as a judge, I'd be like, listen, be quiet, behave yourself. Be quiet, bro. Yeah, you do that. I'm like, take the other kidney.
All right.
I'm like, take the other kidney.
So if you're not giving the kidney back, if you think it's wrong to give the kidney back, what the hell? How can you say it's
What do you
wrong to
mean?
take it, but it's wrong to give the kidney back?
Because now it's like, now you're killing somebody now.
You're killing them by not giving them the kidney.
No, but that was before. That was your kidney that was inside your body. What the hell?
Still my kidney.
It's done though.
It's still-
I'm not the one. Why did you let your signature get forged? It's not my business, bro. It's not my business.
Do you see the inconsistency?
There's a slight inconsistency, but at the same time, we're not talking about the same things. We're talking about different circumstances.
We're not talking about the same things. I'm just saying we found a consistency.
Well, we're talking about different circumstances.
No, we definitely are. We definitely are. I agree. But yeah,
That's foolishness, though. How can you say it's the right? It's the right. I was right to forge your signature and steal your internal organs. What the hell?
I think you can be right to steal something. You definitely can.
Well, let's
surely.
not say that.
I mean, look. All right, let's look at Squid Game now.
I've never
Which
seen
you
that.
don't know. So what happens is, I'm sure you know the basic premise. They play games, people die.
Yeah.
The person behind the games is actually harvesting the organs of the
Okay.
people who die. And he says, I'm doing a good thing. There's people in need of organs. I'm doing good. I'm doing, immeasurable good. And this is what happens when we try and think about what's right and what's wrong
Yeah,
and
of
this,
course.
that, and the other.
The lines definitely get blurred. And there's
It
no,
doesn't take long to get blurred.
It doesn't take long to get blurred, which is why we need Holy Book to teach us what's right, what's wrong, because we have no
It
idea.
doesn't say anything about that in the book,
Well, it's all steam ahead then. Full steam ahead, we're covered. Spiritual top cover.
So is that unforgivable if your sibling did that to you?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
What
that's definitely
about
unforgivable.
if it was for their child?
Yeah, no, it's
Still
unforgivable.
unforgivable, even
Yeah,
though
it's
you can
unforgivable.
understand why they've done it.
Of course, but I definitely think I would probably
It's hard
say,
to say something's unforgivable when
Yeah.
it's so easy to understand why
it's so easy to understand, and it's really easy to forgive them. Ultimately,
and they're supposed to do it.
Exactly.
As a good parent, they're supposed
of
to
course,
do it.
of course. But it's like a year later, like you said, you could easily just be like, you know what, family's happy, family's healthy, no one died. Is it? It's really like maybe I was being a bit. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's
Bit of
easy.
an arsehole. Time
Exactly,
of the
because
month.
we see this literally all the time. People, like you said, people making permanent decisions on temporary feelings. You're not always gonna be. Let's say you say something out of anger to somebody. You're not always gonna feel like that. You know, give it like 20 minutes, even 20 minutes. You know, you've calmed down. Oh, I shouldn't have said what. So
Plot twist: you teeth the kidney, both of them dead.
I'm dead. There's no one left to pay the debts. But yeah, it's. They say it's easy to ask for forgiveness than permission, you know.
Yeah.
So you do it, and then
They say
later
it's
on,
better.
it is better, and it's more effective,
Yeah.
and it's what I do. But
They say it's better to ask for forgiveness than ask for permission, and that's the quote of the day.
that's quite today.
Quote of the day: it's better to ask for forgiveness than to ask for permission.
I don't ask for either one of them. I did it, and what y'all gonna do?
Well, they say if she catch me cheating, I'll never say sorry. That's what Future says in Mask Off.
I'm dead. Isn't that guy at 40 now? He's still
Fact
out
knows,
here doing
still
this.
got 40 more bitches than you
No, I'm screaming.
in the future.
I knew microchips were important, but I had no idea just how important. In 2021, semiconductor sales hit a record 1.15 trillion unit sales worldwide. And by 2022, global semiconductor industry sales hit 570 billion US dollars worldwide. Microchips are used in cars, smartphones, medical devices like MRIs, and can even be used to keep track of your dog or cat. I don't think we've read a book more relevant to our daily lives since Cobalt Red. So this book reminded me of Cobalt Red because, you know, you've got the things we're being talked about, you're holding one in your hand, you've got one in your pocket, you know, you've got billions and billions of them across your home, you know,
it's crazy.
and it's like nothing we have can exist without this tiny thing,
Yeah.
this tiny piece of silicon.
Technological marvel.
Technological marvel, as they say, as you said, sorry. But
And
yeah,
we
that's
have no idea how they made.
exactly, and
this
that's
is what-
that's
this is-
something that you can. That's something that, like I was talking about, that in a conversation at work, you can whip this out and show everybody how you are their intellectual superior because they have no blasted clue what you're on about.
But this is why they say, I don't know what weapons are going to be fought with World War Three. I don't know what weapons will be fought or used in World War Three, but World War Four will be fought with sticks and stones because it's a small amount of people. Like when I say there's literally one company in the world that can make the microchips. You know, there's 3 companies and they all need each other.
Yeah.
So each 3 of them need each other to do
100%.
it, to work together to make these microchips. Otherwise, that's it.
And sooner or
This
later
one
we're
don't know
gonna
how this one does it.
put
This one
ourselves
don't know how
into
this one does
oblivion.
it.
Yeah.
So all it takes is for one of them, someone to call in sick. You know, something happened, and that's it. We ain't got no microchips. It spirals our economy into the ground. You know, phones are expensive. You know how much the new iPhone 16 costs
It's
already?
like £1,500 and that.
£1,500. So guess what happens when we stop making microchips for a day?
It's
That
insane.
value goes up.
Yeah,
you
of
know,
course,
so the
'cause of
longer they're
scarcity.
out, it's
That's
scarcity.
crazy because you know that quote about sticks and stones. I always assumed that meant we would bomb ourselves until we have no technology left, and then the next war would have to be
Well,
sticks
all
and
it
stones.
means
But
is
this is like a
just to
new
knock out. All it means is just
Yeah,
to knock out.
yeah.
You knock out the power supply. You know, you knock out this. No, we don't even know how to do it.
Yeah,
No,
legit.
the average person doesn't even know how to, change a tire, much less reinvent the stuff that we already have, much less,
Legit.
new stuff. Or what? No. The global battle over microchips isn't just about money, it's tied to national security. When Huawei, a Chinese company, rose to prominence in 2018, I think it was, countries like Australia and Britain banned the company after the US's warnings of potential spying. So on the orders of the USA, Western influenced countries banned Huawei. So as you can see, this is a battle that's going on, a war behind closed doors. So the US accused Huawei, saying that they basically said, it's very easy for Huawei to, put listening devices in their chips, or basically something along those lines. So it's very easy to design microchips that are powerful enough to spy, store, and relay data back to China. Imagine your phone, your laptop, your microwave, your dildo, Joseph, listening in and reporting on every move. Can you imagine Ethan Hunt from Mission Impossible saying, "Mr. President, sir, we've got this information from the dildo. It's confirmed. He likes his back blown in." So, this is what's going on. Like, there's no way of us knowing what your phone is capable of.
Yeah, of course.
As these chips are, being manufactured and are improving, think about it, 11.8 billion transistors on
Yeah,
there.
of
All it
course.
takes is one of them to just, have a listening device. That's flashing red.
100%. Bro, I'm
bulb
telling
on
you,
it.
everybody has experienced this. Every single body has experienced this because none of us are switched on. All of us, think, life is just la 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 la. What will happen is you'll be talking about something and then you'll see an advert for it and you'll be like, oh, funny that, It happened to me literally at work. Like I was working with this other guy and he was like, oh, he really wants a McDonald's, really wants a Mackey's, etc. He was talking about it all fucking day. And then we opened his phone and he was like, he went on YouTube and the first advert was for McDonald's.
Yeah.
And he was just, oh, funny that,
Yeah, exactly.
And when that happens to you, you just go, oh, look at that,
Yeah.
funny that,
It's a sign. I need to have McDonald's immediately. That's what happens.
So it could and likely is already happening because, if I'm NSA or one of these spy agencies, you can't have to spy on people, don't
all
you?
you got to do is say, hey Siri, and your phone's ready to, do you know what I mean?
So
you don't have to press it. So
definitely listening.
So it's
There's
already,
proof.
It's already listening to
It's
you.
proof it's listening.
It's already listening to you. It's a conspiracy though. So yeah. But yeah, anyway, this move, banning of Huawei sparked diplomatic tensions, and China threatened the USA and said that they are going to suffer grave consequences if they do not lift the ban. The USA refused. And what do you know? All of a sudden, coronavirus came out of nowhere to fuck us all. Where did it originate?
Wuhan.
China.
China. China.
So yeah, it's like China said, yeah, you're gonna fuck us, yeah? Billions of dollars. Guess what we're gonna do to your whole economy?
China said, you want to rock us, yeah? Yeah, you fuck boy.
Cool. So you definitely wanna. So yeah, it's over. It's been nice knowing you guys. Okay, now Joseph, you couldn't just. The video's done now, It's alright. No one watches today.
No one's watching anyway.
So wait, should I make that into a short?
Absolutely, go for it. Double down.
It's straight on TikTok. I'm surprised you didn't. Surprised you didn't use your fingers.
Nah, listen.
That's going too far.
Yeah, it is going too far. How scientists use light bulbs to run calculations. Not exactly light bulbs, but the vacuum tube, called the valve in the UK, was an invention for performing computation used before the invention of the transistor. The way a valve would work is a vacuum would be created inside a glass case and a filament would be heated to produce electrons through a process called thermionic emission. A positively charged plate would collect the electrons, thereby creating a current flow. This could be switched on and off, performing a function not unlike an abacus bead sliding back and forth across a wooden rod. A switched-on valve was a 1 and a switched-off valve was a 0. ENIAC was a state-of-the-art computer built for the US Army in 1945 and it used 18,000 vacuum tubes. Unfortunately for the US Army, vacuum tubes, like light bulbs, burn out. Not only that, but the glow from the tubes attracted moths, which meant one tube would break down every 2 days.
So that's why it's called
a bug in the system, as recently discovered. We don't know if that's bullshit or not, but I'm going to look it up anyways. Yeah, so, the light from the bulbs would attract moths, which would just bug in the system, clog it up, and they would have to come out and fix it. Like you said about the engineer, call the engineer out, fix one of the 18,000 tubes is broken. We need you to go and have a look, see which one it is.
But because it was in a room, you could probably work it out.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know how big 18,000 to fit in here, it couldn't be that big. So you'd probably be able to, but when we're talking about billions.
Yeah, no, of course.
426,000.
Yeah, exactly.
In a laser.
And there was like 18,000 vacuum tubes. We can't realistically build a bigger computer, have more than this. We can't keep scaling this up, So at a certain point, we've hit a ceiling of how many tubes we can actually have. And that means how fast our computing can be. We've hit a ceiling.
Yeah, a computer has, it was the size of the room and now it's been reduced to this. There was something called Murphy's Law that they kept talking about.
Yeah, that's like, if it can go wrong, it will.
No, something maybe, I don't know. But what they were talking about in this book, they basically said something along the lines, every year, computing power is going to double or triple or something like that. And it has done. Yeah. But now it's off the chain. And, they don't believe it can go anymore. So they don't know what happens then. We've got the superpowers racing to improve. What happens when they can't? Do they decide to take over other people's? Do they decide to?
Well, they said computing power gets faster because the transistors get smaller and they can fit more of them onto one microchip. Yeah, so eventually they're going to get to a size where they can't get smaller.
Exactly.
And then what happens then,
Who knows? Maybe nothing.
What could be the ripple effect to that? Yeah. Anyways, I got one more. How they came to be called chips. Once William Shockley designed the transistor, the next problem to solve was the mass production of the switch that he had created. It would only serve as a viable replacement for vacuum tubes if it either cost less to produce or took up less room, or both. An engineer at Texas Instruments in 1958, Jack Kilby, discovered that multiple transistors could be built into the same piece of semiconducting material, such as silicon or germanium. He called this product an integrated circuit, although it soon became colloquially known as a chip, because the piece of silicon used to house the transistors would be chipped from the whole. As science advances and transistors became smaller, more of them could be fit onto the same piece of silicon, allowing for faster computation over the years. I thought that was really weird because when it was explaining it in the book, they made this groundbreaking discovery that you can fit more than one transistor onto the same piece of semiconducting material. I was like, isn't that obvious? Like, it seemed like a really, like, who am I to talk? I'm not a scientist, did it? But it was like, it didn't seem like it should have, isn't that obvious?
Well,
like,
I mean, it's obviously we're biased because, you know, we already know about this type of stuff. But when they're kind of inventing a whole new world. You know what I mean?
I get it.
They might not have realized at the time that more is more power.
I saw this meme that said Isaac Newton got famous for discovering that if you don't move something, it doesn't move. And it was just like, obviously with the hindsight, it's 2020, isn't it? Or it was like Albert Einstein was famous for discovering that light moves at the speed of light. And it was like, obviously, retrospect is, hindsight is 2020, isn't it? And obviously they're figuring out this stuff that we had no frame of reference for any of this before they figured it out.
You're laughing at them, man. What are you famous for?
Do you see what, bro? 100%. 100%. Famous for talking shit on a podcast. I'm not even famous yet.
Yeah.
I didn't deserve that.
On that note, do you have a quote of the day?
No, I don't.
Famous for not having a quote of the day. Always.
I normally have the quotes anyways.
Well, where are they then? Sorry, I don't know if that's fine. Sorry. But yeah, so guys, till next time.
Till next time.